Good morning, friends, and welcome to this time of devotion. And I am glad that you are able to join us. Over the past 15 months or so, we have been recording devotions, and we started these devotions as a way to connect with you during the COVID pandemic. So I wanted to just briefly thank you for joining us for these devotions, but also inform you that as we finish the church history today, we are going to end these devotions so we are able to spend our time preparing for us to gather in person. But if you wish to remain online, I do want you to know that we will continue to have online services, and we will continue ways to connect with you online. So we hope that you have benefited from watching these devotions. And we will leave some of the old devotions up so you can go view those if you need a supplementary devotion during your day. So when we last left off on our church's history, we were talking about in the 1970s how all three of our appointed pastors were sent to other churches, and a new pastoral team was welcomed. And so I would like to pick up our history where we left off. So this Frey Lounge in Ross Hall was christened in honor of Dr. Frey before he ended his 11-year tenure here. And we waited to learn what manner of pastor the bishop would send to succeed the man who had led the church longer than most of the congregation had been members. The answer came on a hot July Sunday morning in 1976, when Reverend Dorsey Allen arrived from his most recent pastorate from California. Mississippi born and bred, Reverend Allen proved to be a man of wit and humor, a biblical scholar, and one of the most effective preachers in the conference. And his tenure was destined to be longer than Dr. Frey's. And in 1977, Reverend Jane Tews, who earned doctorates in both divinity and law during her tenure at Tempe First, became the Wesley Foundation director. Reverend Tews has built one of the strongest college and young adult programs in the Far West. A highlight of the 1979 and 1980 was the church sponsorship of a Vietnam refugee family, one of several Asian families we have helped become established in America. Reverend Charles Crouch, a retired minister, headed the committee which hosted the Vietnamese family. Another milestone was the acquisition of a new pipe organ. Soon thereafter, we were absorbed by a challenge of a happier nature, that of separating Arizona from the long-established Pacific Southwest Conference and forming our own conference. In 1984, Arizona and Southern Nevada and some California churches along the Colorado River were placed in a new Desert Southwest Conference headed by Bishop Galvan and headquartered in Phoenix. Arizona State University, with its 40,000 students, became the nation's sixth largest single campus university in 1982 and 1983. And our church's mission to the campus became more vital with every passing year. Although Tempe's population continued its steady move to the south, the church maintained its membership level at some 1,200 persons. The following year, the conference askings for the new Major Needs campaign presented our church with a new financial goal, raising more than $60,000 to fund the pastoral pension program, build new churches, and meet other pressing needs. As always, our members met the goal with promptness. The maturity of this congregation is evident, declared Reverend Allen in his annual report. The finance campaign this year consisted of one letter, and our people responded. Rarely does this church find itself necessary to conduct a fundraising drive of any kind, for which its members are grateful. One of the most heartwarming stories of this church is that of Lucille Bailey, a lifelong school teacher who devoted untold thousands of hours to the church as Sunday school secretary and as servant of the congregation. She saved her small salary and invested it, and left instructions that the Lucille Bailey Trust should be used for scholarships and other worthy projects. But both at her Tempe church and throughout the conference. To the amazement of those who knew her frugal lifestyle, it was revealed in 1984 that the trust had grown to $220,000, and it would provide meaningful funding for all time to come. In 1985, the first United Methodist Church Foundation was established to encourage and administer such gifts as those of Lucille Bailey. During the past years, we have provided loans and funding to help other new church starts, such as Red Mountain, St. Matthew's, and to assist building a building program at Dayspring. Giving for special projects such as African famine relief and local food bank stocking always is exceptionally good. If there is a major problem, it is that of parking. Some things never change, friends. With Sunday church attendance nearly 3 times as high as it was the 10 years before, our congregation was finding it increasingly difficult to find a parking space. And then the next title is, and we are nearing 100. In its centennial year, Mike Hitt served as the lay leader, Ed Johns as the chairman of the administrative board, and Ken Ramsey as the chair of the trustees. Workhorses who have served in many major lay leadership positions are gradually retiring and being succeeded by younger members. And nothing could be more healthy for our church. Our pastoral staff in 1986 and 87 includes Pastors Allen and Tews and part-time member Reverend Robert Slaughter and Reverend Michael Pearson. And Mary Dunway heads a very successful Christian education department. And so the history ends. Our first century has been one of growth and service. Resourceful people have been able to solve most of our problems, and others will do so in the future. Because our clientele lives farther and farther from the church than any other in the conference, we will have a continuing challenge to do such a superior job that people will drive many miles to participate in our programs. And God willing, we will be able to meet that challenge. And that was true in 1986 when this was written, and that is also true today. And I know we are missing about the last 30 years of our church history, and part of that is because it's not yet written. One of our church members, Frank Pepper, is working on compiling that for us, so as we get that history together, I would be happy to share that with you. So friends, as we now know parts of our full history, I'm wondering, how has our past helped you understand our present? And how has studying the history of the church inspired you? And how has it challenged you? And also, how has studying shaped your view of the church? Not only our church, but the global, worldwide church. So friends, thank you for being part of this congregation. Thank you for being part of our history. And thank you for making us who we are. Amen.